Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in Mesa, Arizona. With me this week is Jim Meng and David Webb of Mississippi Pro Design Center. And they are struggling to get people in the door, essentially. They've been doing a little feedback there. You know, it's been a minute since I've recorded. I'm out of the loop here. So they've been struggling to get people in the door, right? They're looking to grow their business. They're looking to be able to be successful. They want to help the community in their flooring needs. And so they've done some TV ads, they've done some radio ads, they've done online marketing, they've tried a lot of things, and it doesn't seem to be working. So we're going to sit here, we're going to spitball some ideas with them today about how they can get involved with their community, reach out to them, how they can target their actual demographic, that like their target demographic, reach them more clearly, and how they can help solve clients' problems, as opposed to, you know, I see a lot of contractors and design firms, you know, it's the old adage of like, hey, sale $299, buy it now, right? And I don't know that they're doing that. We're going to talk about it, but great. You have something for $299, right? Does it actually do it for me? I think the only time those ads work really is like Black Friday when I want a TV, and even then it's actually better to buy them during the Super Bowl, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, Floor Academy is here every week. We are talking the business side of contracting because, well, the technical stuff, it's all out there. And nobody really talks the business side of things to help people be more successful. So here it is, laid out every week for you so that you can go put in the work to make yourself better and hopefully raise the bar in your market, as opposed to continuing to compete where you are now. I want more money in your pocket, and I want more time back in your pocket, excuse me, so that you can spend time with your family or out fishing or whatever it is that you want to do. And what else? I want to thank our sponsors. So John's Manville, the International Surface Event, IQ Power Tools, they are all excellent. It's not often plugged until the end, but it is that time of year where it's time to start getting signed up for shows. Surfaces is coming up in the end of January. So go sign up, book it on your calendar. When you sign up, put in the promo code Kyle, Kyle, just put in my first name, and you will get a free exhibition pass to the show. And then you can save that money, and then you can go buy a ticket to see my talk on Monday morning, and we'll hang out and we'll do that. But that's enough out of me. Let's have these guys introduce themselves. So Jim, who are you? What do you do, and why do you do it? And then we will have David introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Jim Meng, and for the past almost 50 years, I've been in construction business. I started my life in the electrical business. Went to school for it in high school. Graduated, became an electrician. Got into plumbing. Got into air conditioning, and went from there. And that was in the 70s when I got out of school. In the 90s, had the opportunity to move to Atlanta, and we became the fourth largest builder in Atlanta. When I moved out there, we were selling 1,400 homes a year, building about 2,500 homes. In 2008, when the crash came, so kind of a midlife crisis, had to reinvent myself. In 2008, go find something to do because there was no jobs to be had. So I decided I have to make a job. Mm-hmm. So I read an article in Home Builder magazine said Jackson, Mississippi was the place to be. It's in the top 15 in the nation for remodeling. So packed my bags and I moved here. Little did I know that until after I got here, that this is a good old boy market. And if you're not a good old boy, you're not going to do any business. So we've been here 13 years now. We're in our construction business. We finally got to be a good old boy, and we've been in the flooring business for 8 years, and we're still struggling to become a good old boy. And flooring has been way harder than I ever dreamed it would be. So it's been tough. we've tried everything. We've thrown all kinds of money at it, stupid money at it, trying to make it work. And so far, nothing seems to stick.
Okay. Well, let's see what we can do. David, what about you?
Yeah, so I've got about, I actually graduated in accounting and hopped right into sales, which wasn't expecting to do that, but it ended up benefiting me in the long term. But yeah, I've been doing B2B sales and marketing and everything else for the past decade. And Jim was actually a former customer of mine and brought me on board to help with a lot of different things. We'll stick to what really matters in this podcast is just growing all kind of sales, our door-to-door, our branding, growing our social media following, improving our close rate, making sure that all the money we're spending is working and that we're tracking it and that things aren't falling through the cracks, which is a big thing with us because we have so many different leads coming in from all these different channels and softwares and everywhere else. It's hard to keep up with. Did anybody even call this person? How many times did we call them? So that's another thing I'm really been working really hard with. But on top of all that, we've got a roofing business and the construction business, so I'm trying to grow all that. We got our website and everything that's got to be maintained. So I stay pretty busy. But things have been trending upward. We've made a concerted effort with all the things that I've been set out to do, but it's been a little, it's been small but good gains, but we're still looking for, like you mentioned, things that actually stick and take off. So all in all, I'm here for a lot of different reasons, but primarily I'm trying to grow revenue and keep our customers happy, push referrals and everything like that.
So how big is the market in Jackson, right? Like what in Phoenix, I can tell you it's 4.5 million people. Like it's absolutely absurd the amount of people I have to reach.
I would say Metro Jackson would probably be around 450.
Okay. So I mean it's decently sized, right? There's a good amount of people. But then what's it look like? Because I probably there's a flooring store half a mile down the road from me. There's actually two. There's one about an eighth of a mile. There's another one a half a mile. I think there's technically one that's in a grocery store. I've never gone to it, but it literally says groceries and flooring on the sign above it. That's across the street from the one that's like an eighth of a mile. My store was like 2 miles down the road for a minute until I had to move it. So just, there's a lot going on in a little bit of area. So what does it look like for... I hate calling it competition, but it technically is. Depends on how you work with them, right?
If you put a pin in the middle of it and got a string and went out, let's say 7 miles and drew a circle, you encompass the whole metro area.
Okay.
So it's, geographically it's not big. So, and the average mean income in 65% of it is 30,000.
Okay.
So, everything on the outskirts is 100,000, but everything on the interior is really low.
Okay. And then how many flooring stores are there in the area? Is there quite a few that you're
25.
25?
25.
Individual stores or together with somebody has 6 locations or something?
No, we're the only person in town that's got 2 locations.
Okay.
Everybody else is just one.
We're just going to have to get so you can start buying them up one by one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most of them, in my opinion, don't know how to do business. So most of them are operating on a 20 to 25% margin, not margin, but markup.
Ooh. Yeah, even worse. So they're operating bare bones.
People come in all the time. Well, we got prices down the road, such and such for this price. You better go back and see them and talk to them.
Okay. Well, you said
we don't feel comfortable with them. Though. Well, if you want that price, you're going to have to go back and talk to them.
Yeah. Well, it seems they're catering to the median income, right? So they're going to play to that demographic to get the majority of the work. And I'm assuming that with you running a remodeling business as well, that you're catering to the people you talked about having $100,000 income on the outskirts.
That is correct.
Okay. So we have an actual, what does your ideal client look like? Have you guys worked that out? So I could tell you that my ideal client is probably mid to late 30s upwards, as high as 60s. They are going to live in now that the market's changed and housing prices have gone up, it's probably a $450,000 plus house, probably caps out at like the $1 million level. Husband and wife, probably some kids still at home if they're on the younger side, and the husband is in some type of corporate job where he worked at the bottom and he's worked his way up into like some kind of upper management position. The wife probably graduated from college as well, but now stays at home with the kids and doesn't work or has like a part-time job so that she can be with them. And they used to do a lot of the work themselves, and then they got into where they could start affording people, and they got burnt a couple of times, and now they don't care what it costs. They just want the project done right. So I kind of know where to go in the city, right, for me, and say this is where these types of people kind of live, or this is how I can appeal to them most. So have you worked it down to like that much of a formula, or is it just like, I don't care who comes in, we're gonna take them?
Yeah, we really don't care who comes in. We're definitely going to take them. But our average client is from 55 to 75. We don't get a lot of younger people.
So I then let's not care about if they just come in, right? If your average ticket right now is 55 to 75, let's work with that. And so where do we find them? And then what's the commonalities amongst them? I got a buddy in Oregon, and honestly, if it's a gay couple and they show up in a Tesla outside of his shop, like done deal making the sale. That's just, for some reason, that's how it works. So what are some commonalities that you see amongst that 55 to 75 audience, like between maybe where, like the zip code they live in, the type of house, the type of car, like anything, so that we can find a way, like some commonality, are they all pickleball players, right? So they're all going to hang out on pickleball. I don't know. But is there something that the people you've had conversations with them, learned about their life, and we can start figuring out where they're at so that we can get the marketing in front of them successfully?
Yeah, I'm not sure where they all hail from different parts of town. So we don't seem to get a group from any one part. They come from all over. So I'm not sure what relates these people other than their age, and they tend to know what they want when they come in.
Okay.
They have the money to pay for it. Very few finance.
Okay. So they have money, probably cash. They're not financing it. They're not putting on a credit card.
Right.
Which would make sense for that demographic. Let's see.
And the reason it's kind of a mixed bag is there's a lot of insurance related stuff too that comes in, and that kind of throws a wrench in all the different demographics, stuff like that, because anybody with insurance can come in with a big paycheck and get what they want. So that can be anybody from any walk of life, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the people Jim's talking about with money, and they're in their long-term home. They know they're going to be there for a long time. They want to be comfortable. They want the floors that they want. They want the counters that they want, things like that. So no real like striking similarities with everybody, but just middle to higher income and in a long-term house that they want to be comfortable in and love, and host and stuff like that, and have family over and everything like that.
Okay. Are we trying to look at residential remodel, or do we have builder accounts, or do we have commercial accounts? Are we getting a ton of insurance work, and so that's really where it's coming from? Like what does that setup look like?
That's been my main focus since I came on board, is because we call it our residential business, and then we call everything else is kind of our, we have commercial business too, but we also have what we just call like repeat clients, which are like our, for instance, we work with a lot of restoration companies. and they'll do, a lot of them will do their own installing. They already know they don't want to deal with design or anything like that because that's not their forte, so they just send the customers to us. We help them pick out what they want. If they want us to install, we will, but we're not going to go over their heads if they want to install or they haven't installed. So they come to us, we help them pick everything out, we order everything for them. They have a trustworthy company. That's a great relationship, and we're trying to get more and more of that because we've probably got about 10 companies, I would say, that are sending us like consistent business on a monthly basis, but really trying to grow that more to real estate, property management, just full-on construction. We do a lot of networking. So, we got a handyman that just came in. We just, struck a deal with him a couple weeks ago so that he needs somebody reliable that, because we do flooring, we also have cabinetry, countertops, doors, windows, and everything else because we've been doing this long enough that we have good relationships with our suppliers and we can get things pretty quickly. So that's been, now he doesn't have to worry about design. He doesn't have to worry about us going over his head to install or take his customer. We get a little bit of a markup when people come in and buy from us, and then everybody's happy. Same thing with another guy that'd be direct competition normally because he flips houses. Met him through a networking group, and same thing. He doesn't want to deal with design or anything like that, and now he can come even outside of his own clients that he sends to us. He has a direct supplier now that he can order things through. So, we're really just taking everything we can get, you know what I mean? And just, so that part of our business, we would like to grow a lot more. We'll take residential one-time clients that come, every few years, every day of the week, but we really want more of that, like repeat, because once you grow that, it's easier. You know what I mean? Like they typically already know what they want, and they're already ready to buy because they've already reached out to a contractor or a real estate agent or something. So those are very warm, easy leads that are easy to just hand off and then hand right back.
Okay. So, you're looking to move more of a like cash and carry kind of system of let's work with people that, let's find somebody that's flipping a house a month and get them locked in as they use us as their floor supplier. Maybe we get them on the cabinets and now I can count on, okay, I've got 10 guys doing that. I've got 10 sales a month because they move a house a month. Okay. Right. And then if residential remodel happens, that's cool. But your focus is more of like, I want repeat business that we're happy to install it if needed. But for the most part, let's just deal in materials. Okay. So you have a couple of restoration clients. I'd be going out with every single one of them and creating a presentation, right? What do you bring to the table that they may not have in a supplier, and then schedule like a lunch and learn and go, buy a platter of Subway subs, go in, give them the 30-minute spiel and feed them. You can do the same thing at real estate offices, right? At architect offices, anywhere that you're going to be able to hit these contractors that do it. I think making friends with a roofing contractor could be great for you, because if it starts leaking and it ruins the floor, you got that. Jim, you probably know how to talk to plumbers, having previously run a prior plumbing business. So they're going to be the first ones to know a leak happened. So you start building those relationships. They're going to get that referral in right away. Oh, your floor's trash. Here, call Jim. He's going to take care of you. Where else can we go? Right. So finding real estate agents, there's, join a BNI group if you're not in one, and you're going to be able to start hitting them up. There's one in every single group. You can go to the office and do the lunch and learn that I already said. What kind of deals can you offer them, right? A lot of times people want to redo flooring, but they don't necessarily have the money to pay for it when they're selling their house. So I'll say I straight up, I'm stealing this from Jerry Levinson, who runs the Flooring Dealers and More Group, but he had set up a program in Arizona where they had a couple of different types of carpet that they would go and sell you and install in your house. And they just set it up that at closing, they got paid out by the title agency. So they would finance it. Right. And so what can you find to offer people, the real estate agents, to help them make a better sale, and maybe you got to leave a little bit of money on the table for a second, but there's a lien on their house, right? So if you can afford to self-finance a little bit, there's probably a big opportunity there. And it doesn't have to just be carpet, right? We can go with the luxury vinyl plank or whatever it's going to be to facilitate them getting the remodel they want done. And then maybe it's the same thing with the house flippers, right? Some of these guys might be tough on cash, and you work out a different deal where you're the hard money guy, because a lot of them will use hard money. So could you front them the materials, and then you just charge a higher number on the back end or interest on it until it's paid off? I think there's some really creative ideas you could come up with to get in front of them and offer them something that somebody else in the market isn't doing.
Right.
So any thoughts on that? Anything you heard that, you would be interested in diving down?
The Jared Levison thing, I've talked to Jared myself to him about that. And I've talked to some realtors around here. Most of them are ready for us to implement that today. So,
okay.
Nobody in town has even remotely got any kind of program.
I believe it. I don't think a lot of places do. It's definitely, it's unique, and it's smart. It's advantageous, right? These people need to sell their house, but they don't they don't have the cash flow to do so, right. Which is going to, if most of your audience there is a $30,000 a year median income, I don't see them most of them are not going to have the cash to do something to their house when they need to sell it. So that's right up that alley of being able to throw in some kind of, builder grade carpet real quick. And then hopefully they close within 30, 60 days and off you go.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jerry was actually getting a credit card if they didn't close in 60 that he was going to run against.
Yeah. I mean, you got to protect yourself somehow.
Right.
So I don't blame that. I definitely would find some way to do it, in that you're going to get paid if it's not taken care of within a certain amount of time. You can't be out. I mean, you can finance people, and if you want to become the bank, then there's obviously advantages to that. But how long do you want to chase down money for? And
right,
you go to collections and all of that, right? There's going to be other issues with it, but it's a possibility. I mean, how long has Rent-A-Center been around? You can go buy the $1,000 TV and have the biggest TV on the block, but you're going to end up paying $3,000 if you really can't afford it.
That's right.
So if you got time and patience, there's obviously a model in it, because they're making money at it, and let alone the credit card companies are here 20% interest, and people continually pay that. What about, how are you, the restoration contractors that you have now, how did those relationships develop? Did they just come in, or did you guys go and seek those out a little bit?
We had a salesperson who went out and
okay.
We hired a salesperson from that industry that knows all the lingo. So they were able to go out and talk to all these people and convince them that we did it better than anybody else. Okay.
And are they still on board?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, they got to start hustling up some more contractors here.
Right. That's right.
What are they doing? Okay. And then are either of you in any networking groups? Are you doing any BNI, or I don't even know, whatever other options there are out there?
Yeah, we have been. Well, I mean, there's no better ROI than networking groups. Like BNI's got kind of it feels like kind of a steep entry price. I think it's about $700-800 for a year, but I mean,
that's cheap.
One close sale, and it pays for itself. But yeah, I think we're in 3 or 4 BNIs now, and a lot of different chambers, and that's like
Apartment Association.
Yeah.
Real Producers, which is a real estate group.
Okay.
We're doing everything that we can find to join.
What's the requirements on that look like? Are they just required to go to the weekly meeting, Or, I know with BNI, you have to go and do your one-to-ones and stuff like that outside of it. And if you're not, then you can get kicked out and all these things can happen. But
Yeah.
the value's really in the follow-up, right? The value's not in the actual meeting. And so how many of the
You're
people
right.
involved are actually doing the work afterwards and setting up the lunches and breakfasts and coffees and building those relationships so that they actually exist and you're going to stay top of mind. But even then, how many people are being the first to not reciprocate, but go out of their way and do something to help the person first, right? When you do something for somebody else, psychologically we want to reciprocate in return. And so if you're waiting for somebody to do something for you just because you've talked to them a couple of times or had lunch a couple of times, what have you done to help their business, right? So what are the salespeople doing to actually go help these people grow their businesses so that they want to reciprocate to you?
That's right.
Do you have any like tracking on that?
We don't.
No tracking or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, and that's why I like BNI is because all that is tracked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they can charge as much as they do. I mean, a chamber costs half of what BNI costs, but a chamber, they don't have all the tracking. So, I mean, if you're not getting any referrals, it's all right there on the dashboard. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
It's pretty clear who's giving and who's taking more, so they don't really call you out about that, but deep down if you're
Mm-hmm.
not really going your way from a referral standpoint. And me personally, things that worked for me with BNI when I was just in sales was, the same groups that I would use to prospect, like all these, I don't know what y'all have in your area, but we have a lot of like, Let's Talk Flowwood, Let's Talk Rankin County. And that's just like a big, 25,000 person group where, small businesses can promote themselves, local events and all that stuff. But people are always asking for recommendations on there too. And that's where a lot of your referrals can happen, easily. And it's just because people really trust those recommendations when they come through. And it's just a quick and easy way to get a fellow BNI or network or a lead or some business.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that's, and I think that the salespeople we have are doing that to the best of their ability. But as far as like outside of that, it's hard to track anything with other than BNI because there's not anything formal that's tracking leads that are going in and out,
Okay. So do you have any software internally that you're using to track leads currently?
Just leads in general, yes, we do. We use Job Nimbus for all of our incoming leads, which we use that for number one, the lead comes in, wherever they come from, we get them in the system, name, phone number, email, source, how'd you find us?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, they move to, estimate given or, showroom appointment, whatever that may be. And then it moves into production phase after that, once we sign a contract and, they're actually, so we do track all that stuff coming
Okay.
in.
Well, and then each one can get assigned to a specific salesperson, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're using that to hold the salespeople accountable for, hey, you
Yes.
close. Okay.
Yeah, we can track like overall salespeople performance, but we can't track like, I thought you were asking if we could track how well.
Well, sure. Why not? Why not implement it into that system?
Yeah.
Right now we create a new category where they need to implement who they're working with through their networking groups.
Yeah.
To build more leads, right? Hey, I need to be able to put this person in the system and I need to show that I follow up with them, at least once every 30 days and do a coffee or a lunch or whatever it's going to be. And if they're not doing the follow up to those groups, then what's the point in putting your time in there, right?
Right.
Where can I have them then go and better invest their time to draw in traffic if that group's not paying off? Because maybe they've been going to a chamber meeting for a year and they're doing coffee and lunch and all this stuff with 10 people, and in 12 months they haven't gotten anything. Drop it. Right now I'm just wasting my time. Let's go find you another group somewhere else or find a different way to get you new potential leads as opposed to doing the same thing that's not working. And I think that's like, you got to find some way to hold them accountable, because otherwise they're just going to milk it, right? If you guys are paying for it out of your pockets, or Jim as the owner is paying for it out of his pocket to have them pay for the membership, and you're covering meals and stuff while they're doing it, I could get pretty complacent and just be like, well, at least I get lunch today.
Breakfast hour. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, no big deal to me. Like, I'm getting paid no matter what. There's probably, I would assume there's probably some kind of base and then a commission on top, right? So I'm at least getting base to sit there and do nothing. And that's it. We've got to hold everybody to a higher level and say, okay, what are you actually producing? What is it? If you're going to invest the time, then what is everybody getting out of it? So I would try and look at how do we add in them having, and maybe it doesn't even go in the program, right? It's just a spreadsheet you make and print up, and they need to fill it out weekly of who they talk to and when and where at and stuff like that. And you can start seeing what it produces over time. I'm going to interrupt us real quick with a brief message from John's Manville. 0 entry, curbless, ADA compliant. All these words describe a shower pan style that is both luxurious and accessible for every person. GoBoard Point Drain was designed with this in mind. The low profile features and adjustable riser perfectly enable a 0 entry installation. Whether you install mud pans or use GoBoard wedges, the integrated membrane keeps water securely flowing in the right direction, down the drain. Visit www.jm.com/GoBoard to discover the possibilities. And with their really generous warranty on being able to mix and match stuff, it's going to prevent money from draining out of your pocket too. So go check them out, guys. All right. Jim and David. So, we can look at trying to hold salespeople accountable. We're looking at trying to get in front of some other types of contractors. And then I think there's this finding that residential market. So with the construction business, is that remodel work? Is that rebuild work? Or what's going on with the construction business that you own in conjunction to the flooring store? Because I would think that would be able to provide a lot of business with all of your offerings between cabinets, countertops, doors, and then you have the flooring.
Yeah, we're about 70% commercial.
Okay.
Remodels primarily.
Okay, so that's where the commercial business is coming from for you then?
And then, we do all kinds of commercial.
Okay.
From adding on the buildings to whatever.
Okay.
We do it all. And 30% of our work is kitchen and bathroom remodels.
Mm-hmm.
And we get plenty of that every week. I mean, we turn away work, so.
Okay. So we just need to find a way how to.
We're not struggling there like we are with the flooring industry.
Well, so how do you have the leads coming in, right? They need a kitchen, they need a bath. So at some point they're going to do that major remodel, which comes first in line, right? We got to do the kitchen and the baths first, and then we're going to do the flooring. So where are you coming down the line that, like, where's the ball getting dropped that you're not in front of these people a year or 2 years later when they're doing their flooring? Is there any kind of email campaigns going on?
First of all, we're operating on 2 different names because we're InVision Construction.
Okay.
That we do the remodels under instead of Mississippi Pro Design. So we probably hadn't done a great job of linking those 2 together.
Do you need it to be under 2 separate names?
And also, one part about not linking them together is we're trying to get remodelers and restoration companies to come buy from us, so we don't want to be seen as their competition.
Okay.
So we don't want a hard link together.
Okay. Well, with InVision, then, are you providing the flooring and the cabinets when you do the bath and kitchen? Okay.
We provide all that.
So but they're coming into Mississippi Pro Design Center to the Pro Design Center to pick everything out?
That's correct.
So they know you're there.
Right.
But they're just not coming back when they need the flooring. Okay.
Right.
All right. So
Because usually we put all the flooring in they need when we do the remodel.
Well, okay, but if you're just doing the kitchen and bath, though, at some point they're probably expanding beyond that. Or are
Right.
people? Are you saying kitchen and bath, but you're doing a lot of times you're doing like a whole house of flooring?
Right. Sometimes, a lot of times we're doing the whole house.
Okay. What is there a follow-up system in place with them that you stay in front of them with any kind of email campaign after the fact, giving them monthly reminders on like cleaning tips or maintenance tips? I know a company that has like a monthly newsletter go out, and it's like there's like a crossword puzzle on it and maybe like a cooking recipe. Like it doesn't even necessarily have anything, and it might have like one tidbit about flooring maintenance or something like that. But for the most part, it has your company name on this like monthly newsletter and
Right.
a bunch of information that homeowners could find useful. And then hopefully, because you stayed in front of them over the years, when they need it, right, they're going to come back to you and do it again. Because the other part of it may be that they remember InVision doing the remodel and they forget that they came to Pro Design Center to pick everything out, because you do have that separation, right? So you can stay in front of them and say, hey, we're over here, right? Don't forget that we have this great relationship with, Design Center, and we're going to be able to offer you all of these other services.
Right. We hadn't been doing that, but I think that's on top of David's list.
Yeah, we did. We sent out our first email marketing campaign last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was to all of our current clients. So we do have a good kind of a lead list. Like we've got, all the clients who have actually purchased from us, and got those divided up between InVision and Pro Design. And then we've got all the people that were put in our system at one point in time but never purchased. So it was kind of like basically like a abandoned shopping cart type thing. We can start reaching out to them. But the first campaign that went out was just thank you for your business. Come see us before the end of the year for 10% off your supplies. And that's, we're still, even if we're giving the 10% off on supplies, it's still worth having somebody come back in and, especially they've already had a good experience with us. We get really good reviews online, which is good. Typically we get really good feedback from our customers. So,
Okay.
So we sent that out, but I like the newsletter idea a lot, because that's something that's not, and we really went back and forth about what to send out in this first email blast, because we didn't want to get automatically sent to junk, so we figured we needed to kind of dangle a carrot out there with, something of substance, and, the 10% off materials that can really add up on a big job. You know what I mean? If they're coming in and doing a $15,000, $20,000 remodel, the materials, that can be a really big savings for them.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of providing value outside of just constantly talking about ourselves, and not getting thrown directly to the spam folder, and without having to always give discounts every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I personally hate it, right? I want my margins, right? So I'm either to give 10% off, I'm either going to raise my margins to get the same price, or I'm going to know that I'm just lying and I'm actually operating at less of a margin, and that's what I actually accept because I'm constantly giving money off. But I hate money off. Like, I don't care. Just tell me what your best price is up front. Right. Just tell me what it is, and we're going to go from there. And if you present enough value, then I'm going to decide that it's worth it. And so where can we build value other than saying there's money off? Because really, price is generally not the first or second concern from people. It's lower down the list, and it gets as high as 3, but it's usually further down. They're looking for other stuff. And so by staying in front of the people that you've already met with, by offering some other type of value like recipes and a crossword or whatever it's going to be on there, right? And then monthly maintenance tips, right? You're in Mississippi, right? It's a flood zone, right? How do I protect my house from a flood? How do I, a hurricane comes through, or, how do I make sure to check your smoke detectors, right? Just all the normal monthly maintenance stuff, or even like, hey, go and check the valves on your toilets. Nobody ever does that. Jim, you did plumbing long enough. How many times did you have to replace the shutoff valve on the darn toilet because nobody ever closes it, and so the valve, the seal, the rubber seal goes bad and doesn't work anymore, right? All you got to do is go in there once a month and turn it and use it, and it'll last a lot longer, but nobody does. So you start giving like little things, and you stay in front of them. And then I think for new people that we want to attract in, and especially participating in the Facebook groups, that's how I built Illustrious Hardwoods, was off of Facebook groups. And whatever project I finished that week, I would take and post pictures of, and it was, hey, Mrs. Smith from Glendale reached out, and her chihuahua was pissing all over her carpet and ruining it, and she was super upset, and she didn't like her house anymore, and she was embarrassed to have friends come over. So she reached out to us and asked us what we could do for her. We were able to put in this beautiful luxury vinyl plank floor. And, here's a before, and there's a big old nasty stain in the middle of it. And then you have the beautiful, freshly finished LVP with brand new baseboards that are taller, side by side. And all of a sudden, Mrs. Jones is reading this, and she's like, I've got a little shithead chihuahua. I need that. Like, right? So you start presenting it as not, hey, I install flooring, because that's all the ads I see from contractors is, call me if you need an install. Call me for you need plumbing. Call me to get your, chandelier hung. Cool. I guess that kind of works, but like it goes beyond that, right? Especially knowing that most of our clientele and decision makers for flooring are women. They don't operate on that level. Like what is it about them that they're struggling with? And it's usually that they're upset about the beauty of their home or embarrassed by it, and they want to change something, right? So now how do we start reaching them? My friend Shannon Vogel runs Reach Social, and she was talking about on the episode I did with her, like she gets done with work for the end of the day, she sits down with a glass of wine, she grabs the iPad, she lounges on the couch, and she scrolls Facebook. She doesn't want to see our ad yelling 10% off materials. Like she doesn't care, right? She cares about her girlfriend that's posted a picture of the kid or the dog or whatever, like something family related is happening, right? That's the post she cares about. But now she sees a post that's cleverly written to look like it's somebody talking about their project, and it tells about a story that you can connect to. Now that person's intrigued and stops on your ad. Whereas before it was just a picture of, some flooring samples and 10% off through Tuesday. That's easy to pass right by. But when you start telling these stories that people can understand and connect with, now we're going to grab their attention and catch them. So not only can you get them with actual, if you want to do Facebook marketing, they may not notice the little sponsored thing underneath it, but just participating in those community groups that actually allow a little bit of advertising, you're showing not only the quality of your work because you're showing before and afters and maybe some during pictures in there, but you're telling what problem you actually solved. And I care more about that because I can connect to that as opposed to call us for flooring.
Ask them to send in questions, and we respond to the top 10 questions.
That's
in some kind of way. I mean, we're experts in everything because I'm licensed contractor, electrical, plumbing, air conditioning. So we are the experts. So we can answer any question that comes up.
The first thing I would do with that is on your website, I would go to your salespeople and ask each of them what are the top 10 most questions you get asked every day. And then I would filter through all of the answers from the salespeople, and I would go make an FAQ page on your website. And I would not only type it up the answer, but I would film the answer. Right. Then you can take that filmed version and you can put it on YouTube, which if you link that with your Google My Business account, right now we're using we're not only adding SEO for Google on our webpage because we have the written format, we're putting a YouTube video out that has the written content with it so that we're hitting keywords over there. And then all of that is working together with our Google My Business account to say, look at all this content I'm providing that's new.
Right.
And so between everything you can do, right, you can answer plumbing questions, you can answer HVAC questions, you can answer flooring questions, you can answer remodel questions. You've got a ton of content that you could be putting out a video every day of, here's this simple solution. And I personally believe, like, I'm willing to give away the farm. I don't care, because what I know about people is that you can tell them how to do it and they're not going to do it. And the proof is the show of 4 years of interviewing people about advice on how to improve business. Most people haven't done it. The people that put in the work have made a difference in their businesses, but a lot of people just listen week after week and they never, ever do a thing. So you could literally make videos on how to install your own flooring, and they're going to say, you know what? They know how to do it. Let's just go hire them.
Right.
It's true though. I mean, you laugh at it, but it's true. And it's having that abundancy mindset. It's having that growth mindset as opposed to that scarcity mindset. There's 450,000 people. The DIYer that is going to do it on their own was never your client to begin with. What are you worried about? Right. But they'll have a successful install at that point. And so when their friend that's not a DIYer says, hey, how do I do this? They're going to say, you know what? Mississippi Pro Design Center, they kick butt. I learned what I needed to from them. Go talk to them. So you still get ahead.
Right. Yeah.
Another thing I thought of is, do you offer any types of cleaning supplies?
Any type of what?
Cleaning supplies currently?
No.
Okay. So one thing that I've thought of doing and I haven't implemented is, especially like LVP is huge, right? And it doesn't matter what it is with tile or hardwood. Come up with a care kit that every client gets at the end of the project, right? So they're going to get some kind of cleaning solution. They're going to get some kind of mop. They're going to get the care instructions put in there, right? All this stuff packaged really nice in a gift basket. But if you can find a product that's not available locally through the stores, right? It's only through you. You can put in your warranty information that, hey, warranty void if not using this cleaning supply, or we'll give you an extended warranty as long as you use this. You're the only one that sells it. They're going to go through a bottle every month or two. They got to come back down to you. They got to buy that bottle, right? So it gets them in the store, and it's going to, they got to come in, they got to stop in, they got to buy the bottle. You can, hey, how's the floor doing? How's little Timmy? How's, Rocco the dog doing? Right now, you got to start having those conversations, and you're staying in front of them, which means you're more likely to stay top of mind, so that when their neighbor Deborah asks about a backsplash, well, hey, go on down over there. They're awesome. They every time I go in, they remember and ask about the dog and little Timmy. But it's building those relationships with the community and finding ways to, if they don't have a reason to come into your store, then what's the reason to go back, right? So now we're hitting them with emails. We're making them find ways that they have to come back in. I got to go to the Wally World all the time. It's around the corner. It's way easier than finding a mom and pop shop to buy something when I need it really quickly. It's not, I don't want to shop there. It's just so dang convenient, right? Flooring store is not super convenient probably. So how do I make somebody like have to come back in and do business with me, but add value in the transaction between, like I said, right? You could offer a longer extended warranty as long as they continue to use your product. What do they get by coming in? They start getting that relationship. And when I know when I went and I picked my bank, there's 3 branches in Phoenix of this small local bank. But when I go in, they were like, you could use the ATM outside and stuff. Kyle was like, yeah, but see, my name. I want to come in and I want to interact with you. Like if I go down the street to Chase, I'm just an account number. They don't know my name. They don't care about me. My account's never going to be big enough for them to really care. It's not going to have tens of millions of dollars for them to think I'm something special. I have no money with you. And every single one of you knows my name and calls me by it when I come in, and you know what business I have. That matters to me. So, and then what, like you could pull a card out of Home Depot's book. Can you offer classes? Could you offer like backsplash installation classes or flooring installation classes on weekends? Could you come up with a fun project for the kids to build, like a birdhouse or a piggy bank, or what can we do to bring people in? Because I know per our phone conversation that we had off air, you have one location that's back in like an industrial area. It's not as well known, and you can't see it from the road. So how do we get people in there to know it's there so that they should come in and buy stuff from us? So what can we do to involve the community, be a part of them, give back to them since they support our business? And so what kind of activities could we start planning to, get people in, especially if they want to learn how to do a backsplash? Maybe you offer it and they're like, man, this is hard. Can I just pay you to do it? Or they learn, but they still got to buy the materials.
Right.
So you're making money one way or the other, and at least in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last week doing seminars because they had planned to do that.
Okay.
I don't even know how long ago y'all put that PowerPoint together, but it just never happened. But now we could easily get a great turnout with all of our networking groups and everything like that. People outside of our everyday customers who already know who we are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great idea to teach them something that we can offer, something that's technical, but it still benefits them to know how it works and also why why our price is what it is, because Jim knows every single tech bulletin for every single product and seal and everything else we have, and
yeah.
There's a reason that these things go on. And if there's something else that's already been there before, you can't use that. You need to use this. And just differentiating yourself with all that knowledge. And number one, it's educational. And number two, it makes you realize like, oh, there's a lot that goes into this. I should probably trust these people with what they're doing and understand why they're recommending certain things for certain, it's not a one size fits all when you're going in and ripping up floors that have been down for 20 plus years.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's a great idea. I like the birdhouse idea too, because I literally just built a Home Depot birdhouse with my daughter the other weekend.
My kids loved it. They got they got the smock and they got the pins every week or once a month when we were able to go. They had silly toys. My son, he was probably like 3, and he built like the bug holder cage thing, and we had to come home and start. Gotta catch a bug, Dad. Come on, we gotta put one in, right? And he's just he's running around, he's having fun. But look, they're smart. They brainwash these kids from a young age. Go to Big Orange. They're gonna take care of you. That's what's happening. It's money in their pocket. It's such a forward-thinking future investment, and it costs them next to nothing to be able to do.
They probably just use scrap materials that get returned.
Even if they're buying the units from China, right? Like they're paying a young kid $20 an hour or less to run the thing for an hour. It's no big deal, and they hand stuff out, and then they do not. It's just part of their day. It's no big deal. And then again, like especially with the background you have, having the remodeling company and the HVAC and the plumbing, I had we had a family friend that she's single and she's got 2 kids and no man around. And she was like, I need to change the locks on my doors. They're not working right anymore. I was like, okay, like go to the store and buy some locks. And she's like, yeah, but it's hard. I don't know how. I was like, it's 2 screws. Like take out the 2 screws, the whole thing's going to fall apart. And then you're going to take the 2 screws out of the side of the door and you're going to pull that little part out. And then you're going to do the same thing in reverse. And she's like, no. It's like, yeah. It's like 4 screws all together. Just do it. And she did it. And she felt so empowered. Right. But it was a big accomplishment for her because she's not handy like that. And so is there even more that you could bring to the table besides just doing flooring things. And you start, hey, this is our like non-handy person class, right? Come in and we're going to teach you basics of like how to put on a doorknob, how to replace an electrical receptacle, how to do like a basic cleaning on your AC unit. Hopefully your AC units are mostly on the ground out there instead of on roofs like in Arizona. But if it's accessible, like a basic cleaning most people can do. It's you shut it off, you take off a couple of screws and pull the panel off, and you can access the coils and clean them and not harm it. It's not rocket science, but it's something that people generally pay for because they think it's way more complicated than it is. So there's probably a lot of value that you could start adding to people's lives just by the wide spectrum of things you have to offer.
You could probably do a class on what you need to know about flooring.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, right before we got on this podcast, called me wanting to know if wood had to be acclimated. He said he just had some installed Friday. The guy told him it didn't have to be acclimated, and he's got gaps in it today.
Yeah, it happens. But even that, like if you make that a class, I would film that class, and then I would put it on your YouTube channel. I would put a link to it. I would make a page for it on your webpage, right? Here's like a ton of additional resources for us. And now here's us explaining the hows and the whys, right? You can have this evergreen content that speaks for you because you spent the time to record it. And most people, you're going to go and give that presentation 15 times.
Right.
That's why.
Right.
You can give it once and just...
You can break that down in a bunch of different little segments too.
Exactly.
And
correct.
Whatever. I mean, a lot of people think you can lay ceramic tile over stained concrete, and you can't.
Correct.
And we have a lot of stained concrete in this area, so people are wanting to just lay right over the top of it. Of course, it's not going to stay there; it's going to come up.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get those pores opened up. Can't do that.
Right.
Again, you don't know what you don't know. I don't blame them. It's not their profession, right? They shouldn't be educated on it. The problem is when the professionals aren't educated on it, and that's a whole different problem in this industry that we're trying to deal with. But no, I think this gives you both a ton of different ways that you can start working on reaching people, trying to draw them in and get more clientele in the store. And, the Facebook groups are going to be, I think, really valuable to you here because now you can offer, hey, we're holding a class here and we have it at this location on this day. We have it at this location on this day. Come on down, right? And so you can create an event. You can start seeing people that are coming. You can make a sign-in form when they get there where they have to give you, name, address, email. That way you can get them on the mailing list and start staying in front of them. But that should start to grow your audience, I think, especially, offering something where it's no strings attached, right? There's no pressure. Just come on down and learn about whatever it is you need to learn about. And then hopefully they reciprocate because they got something out of you that it's going to be, well, I got to get my material here. And you offer better materials than what they're going to be finding at the box store. That would be another thing is go down to the box store and buy a couple of their really cheap tiles and then show them why they want to invest in your tiles right here. These aren't the same size. They're warped all funny. They're not square. And then look at our stuff. So yeah, it's 3 times as much, but this install is going to be so much easier for you and quicker because you're not fighting all of the unevenness. So what you lose in money, you save in time, and your time's valuable. You're doing this on a weekend. You don't have a lot of time to learn. Let's make it as easy for you as possible.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. I don't know. Any thoughts or other struggles that you want to kind of hit on?
So everything we've talked about so far has been pretty much relationship marketing. Mm-hmm. So,
I'm big on that. I'm big on that. I that's where it's at, man. We're human beings. We need relationships. The internet's annoying. Look, drive around, right? How many billboards do you actually pay attention to? Or ads on your phone, or how much of that stuff do you actively pay attention to, or do you just tune out 98% of it?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
I'm old school. Like I'm not old, but I'm old school. Like I want to shake somebody's hand. I want to look you in the eye. That's where it's going to happen. It's not going to happen because you read something online. I got to get you on the phone. I got to talk to you.
Right. I agree. I don't even like text. I'm way old.
I'm with you. I'd rather have a phone conversation, And so I'm with you. If I have to force something to like be a text message, I get it. Like at least there's documentation behind it, or in an email. There's value in it, but there's a lot of communication lost by not being able to see facial expressions or hearing tone.
I can't read people when it's a text. I can read people real well when I'm talking to them, see their expressions.
Exactly.
We don't give any prices in our construction industry without getting the people in here where we can look them face to face before we get. So, I can tell if we have a problem the minute they look at it. So, and then we can figure out how to fix it. But if I email it to them, we may never get the opportunity to fix it.
Yeah, totally get it. What about you, David?
What's that?
Any other questions or struggles? We got a couple minutes if we need it. I'm happy to spitball anything else, or what's the big takeaway you got?
Well, we didn't touch on this, but on the phone call you had mentioned just getting more involved in the community, and we have been starting on doing that now. We've got a Toys for Tots thing running now, and nice. And we're doing a canned food drive. So little things here and there that are going to start adding up over time, we feel like. And it's just, it's a great cause. It doesn't cost us anything. It's good exposure. I mean, it's really win-win for everybody involved. So doing a lot more stuff like that's going to be our focus moving forward. I mean, obviously with the Christmas season around, that's two easy and obvious choices, but we'll need to get a little more creative in January and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why we had bounced the idea of like doing that seminar in early January, because we went back and looked at our sales numbers, and typically January and February are a little slow for us. So we figured let's get everybody in here second or third week of January, have some kind of seminar, provide food, get people in the showroom, have a nice relevant topic, and we can easily fit 50, 75 people in there, so that would be just priceless advertising, as long as we have to have a really good, engaging topic. We don't want to just talk about ourselves for an hour, but, a nice mix of tips and, throwing in some shameless plugs every now and then. But we like that idea a lot. And then that was a great recommendation that you made on the phone call about just being more involved. And we are involved, but just being strategic about being involved, because it's just a great, easy way to get people in the store when they know, hey, I need to go drop got some old cans I need to go drop off. Let me go swing by there, or hey, need to drop these toys off. Let me go see Sandy down in Florida. So whatever it is, just keeping stuff like, I want to have some campaign or something going on at all times, no matter what it is.
I think if you can find 12 organizations, right, you just switch them out once a month and run it that way.
There's plenty.
Definitely. And Christmas is an easy one, right? You can go talk to the local school in the area and find a family that's struggling, or you can just go somewhere that offers up like the Christmas angel trees. And I talked to you guys about it on the phone, and I've said it on the podcast in the past, right? Like have Santa come in and do, read a couple of books, hire a local photographer that, get them taking pictures, and then have them printed out right there on site so everyone gets their Christmas pictures. You can do the same thing with the Easter Bunny. I've got a client in Utah right now that's planning a trunk or treat in her parking lot, and she has like 35 businesses lined up to be there. So it's a little late to start something like that, but maybe next year you run some kind of campaign in that way. But yeah, it's just, how do I get people to come in and not make it about me selling, right? I'm just here. I'm doing my thing. I'm a business that wants to help other businesses and people be successful. And I can, as long as you're doing it from a true place of wanting to help people and it's not out of greed, I think people will see that and respect it, and they'll want to patronize your business more, right? And so it's kind of like, it is self-serving, but it's not. It's just the way it kind of karma goes around, and it pays off to do good things for good people. So,
Yep.
All right. Jim, did you have a big takeaway from this?
Yeah, we're going to do more relationship marketing. I think we're going to try to get on every soccer team, every little league. I think we're going to wear them out. They're going to know who we are.
If anybody is, not a parent and has extra time, being the coach is going to go a long way. They're always looking for a coach, and a lot of parents don't want to do it. So there's another way, right? Now they got your shirt. You got a company shirt on. You're out there coaching the kids, getting back with them. And then what? You get to be in front of all those parents every week, sending out an email from your account with your signature line on it saying, here's the game, here's the practices. Just another idea.
Yeah, it is.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us, folks. So we got a couple of words here. Hey listeners, it's nearing show season again, and I want to remind you that the International Surface event is returning to Las Vegas January 24th through January 26th. Mark your calendars now, because otherwise I know you're not going. Got to book it in and lock out those dates, because otherwise you're going to think no one's going to want to book, and you're not going to have any work, and you're going to make an excuse, and you're going to take the job. Go to Surfaces. It's a great time for the networking alone, and we're going to get to that part. All right, so now you got your calendar marked. Floor Academy podcast listeners will have the opportunity to register for free using the promo code Kyle, Kyle. It's my name, can't forget it. Whether you're an installer, retailer, distributor, or serve in another capacity within our industry, attending TICE is a solid resource to expand your knowledge and networking base. You can also learn about the newest and industry-leading products coming to market. Stay up to date with the International Surfaces event page on Facebook, or visit intlsurfaceevent.com. You know the grind, the dust, the rain, the cold? We do too. We're IQ Power Tools, born from the sweat and grit of two Masons who knew there had to be a better way. We're not just making tools, we're elevating the whole damn game. From our hands to yours, our story is your story. So let's cut the dust, not the ambition. Can't wait to meet you where it all happens, the job site. For more information on IQ Power Tools and their products, check out the link in the show notes. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us this week. Jim and David, thank you for joining us and allowing us to spitball some ideas to help improve your business. I'd love to check in at some point and see what's going on, maybe like 6 months down the road. You can learn more about Floor Academy at flooracademypod.com. You can help support the show over at patreon.com/Floor Academy. Even $5 a month goes a long way in helping me doing what I'm doing over here to get you information on improving your business. And don't forget about our new Masterclass Mastermind offering, the third Saturday of every month. I am having clients from our business therapy mastermind groups come, and one of them will teach something about what they are actively implementing into their business. And so you're going to get a masterclass on something. So we've got storytelling or advertising with storytelling. We've got one coming up that will be about the importance on having core values and like a mission statement, vision statement, which a lot of companies are missing, sadly. And on performance-based pay instead of just doing hourly pay. Those are some topics that'll be coming up in the upcoming months. It's only $99 a month. And just reach out to me, and I am happy to get you set up. So you can send me an email or just get a hold of me on Facebook. And then there's obviously the business therapy mastermind groups, where we put 5 business owners into a group that meets every other week. We are super goal oriented. You're getting accountability. You're having to report on, what you're actually doing in your business regularly, so that you have to do the work on it instead of just getting caught up in running your business day to day. This is your time to get forced to actually focus on working on your business instead of just in it. And then you're getting the insights from 5 other business owners on how to, where they would attack a problem from. And it's been really, really phenomenal results for the members. If you're interested, once again, just reach out to me through Facebook, send me an email, flooracademypodcast@gmail.com. And thank you again to all the sponsors. And once again, David and Jim, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So we will catch you all next week.